Hello everyone and welcome back to Hidden Image Limited. I'm sure you all know what we're doing today because you read the title. And we're going to be listening to the classic, amazing album, Metal Box by Public Image Limited. Now, this album is one of my favourite albums of all time. It's just amazing. My last video seems to be doing decently well, especially for this channel. So I suppose that people actually do enjoy these videos. So that's why I'm continuing. I was going to continue anyway, but it's helpful to know that you guys enjoy it. So my last video I did First Issue, which is their first album. And a lot of people disagreed with me. Well, not a lot of people, because not a lot of people commented. But it seems that the majority of people who watched it and commented disagreed with my ranking of Theme, a 7 out of 10. And, yeah, I suppose I see where they're coming from. So, I'm not going to give it a 10, but I've bumped it up to a 9. Believe me, you're not going to get many changes out of me. But they did make me reconsider that, yes, this song was very different compared to everything else that came out at the time, and it is a great statement. So I kind of do regret that a little. But there's not many times you're going to be able to change my opinion on these songs. If I rate a song something, don't expect to change it. We're all here, we all have different opinions. I respect yours. I mean, different opinions are interesting. I really like talking to people who might hate an album that I love. It's cool to hear that, as long as people are respectful and stuff. So now that's a 9 out of 10. It's gone from a 7 to a 9, so that bumps it up to a 59 out of 80. That's almost a 60 out of 80, which is pretty good. So that's First Issue. And Metal Box. So I just want another disclaimer. I'm sorry about the glare, like from the window. There's not really much I could do about that. I've changed camera positions compared to last video, and I've got rid of my light. So maybe this will improve things. Yeah, let's get into it. Albatross. And also, if you didn't see the first video, you could go back and watch it if you want. There you go. Sorry, just my speakers weren't properly plugged in. This song is a good song. Now, if you didn't see the first video, I'll explain how I do this. I've got the CD, second edition, and rip it. And so this CD's ripped onto my computer and I just play that. So it's perfectly legal, I'm not pirating anything, it's a ripped CD. Well, sorta. I didn't rip second edition, and my brother's got a Metal Box CD. Not sure where. Over here. I got him it for Christmas. We're both lovers of this album. So I ripped this. So we are getting a proper track listing. So don't worry about Socialist and whatever, the suit being moved about. That's not going to happen. Just give me a second. Enjoy the music. Okay, so I just wanted to show you Metal Box on cassette as well. I love this album. So these are all my copies of this album. So I've got the original Metal Box, metal canister. Not sure what metal, probably aluminium, I don't know. It's very cool though, very alien. I mean, listen to this music. Amazing bass. The guitar is so metallic, it's doesn't. There's notes, but it doesn't even sound like a guitar. It is crazy good. And John Lydon's vocals are just haunting. So there's the original track listing. Came on a sheet of paper, printed in blood red. The blood red's a bit darker, but that's like fresh blood red, I guess. And I probably won't get all the records out because they're a bit hard to get back in. Song's amazing. This is my brother's favourite song on the album, by the way. It's easy to see why. Metal Box. Here we have second edition, which is the re-release, because Metal Box was limited run. And then they put it on a regular sort of gatefold vinyl. You got this. There's even though I love Metal Box, I absolutely love the packaging for this as well. Like the greys. You still get that metallic vibe from it. Sort of really nightmarish. Not scary, but just I don't know what the right word is. It's uncanny in a way. The distorted image of Keith Levine there. We open it. John Lydon, I think. Yeah, John Lydon on that one. Jar Wobble. All the lyrics on the back. And there's the record. Well, one of them. See, this comes on 2 vinyl and Metal Box is on 3 vinyl. Here we have second edition on CD. This was how I first heard it. Again, if you saw my first issue review reaction sort of thing, you would know I didn't like that album when I first heard it a few years ago. This album I also didn't like, maybe even less so, because it's longer. Yeah. But of course now it's top 2 albums. Jar Wobble on the bass, tremendous job on this album, as usual for Jar. And there's the lyrics on here. John Lydon. So it's pretty much the vinyl release, but on CD. You don't get the grey border though, but I mean, of course, it wouldn't look as good on CD, a grey border, but it kind of adds to it, in my opinion, the border, so it's a bit of a shame. I hope the volume levels are alright. It's got the same image of John Lydon, so it's probably just PiL has this image instead of first issue. I thought it was a first issue thing at first, but it must be a PiL CD thing. That guitar! I love this upcoming part on guitar. It's just so cool. The bass line's changed. Back to the original. So yeah, here's the cassette. Metal box. Doesn't look like metal box, obviously. The track listing is completely different. Well, the running order to fit the cassette format. But yeah, it's a cool listen. I've listened to it and it hurts your ears because it's just crazy on the guitar, on the cassette version. Just a second, just gonna plug my phone in. If it ends the video, I am very sorry. Didn't, thank Christ. So, there's the cassette. Cassette's still grey. Typically they're black. This one comes in grey. So at least there's that. So yeah, I love this record. I think it's the album I own the most amount of times. Maybe. It has to be. I own it twice on vinyl, CD and cassette, and I never buy cassettes that often. Song's coming to a close now, I think. Just about. Just gonna shoot off for a second. Here's another cassette I have. I believe it's Richard Dudowski on drums on that track. Great drummer. See, with first issue, I'll just let that fade out. So I paused it too early then. So with first issue, you had Jar Wobble on bass, John Lydon on vocals, Keith Levine on guitar, and synth apparently, and Jim Walker on drums. It's not like that with Metalbox. Yeah, I mean, you've got Keith playing synth and guitar and drums and bass, and you have Jar Wobble playing piano, bass and drums. John Lydon just does vocals. I think he does piano on one of them. And just a sec. And the primary drummers are actually quite there's quite a few. I think there's 3. So I'm just gonna look up the Wikipedia page for reference, because Wikipedia gets a few things wrong surely, but of course I don't think it'd get the personnel wrong, because they've been credited. So yeah, so you had 3 different drummers on this album, but Jar Wobble and Keith Levine also played drums. John Lydon did vocals and piano on some tracks. This second PiL cassette that I have is their live album that came out after this, Paris in the Spring, or, well, that's what it's called here, but it's called like Paris Au Printemps or something like that on vinyl. I have the vinyl as well. It's not my favourite, because I have a few live bootlegs of the time, and I actually prefer those. But it's still a great release. It's better than bloody Live in Tokyo. I really don't like that one. So yeah, Albatross, obviously, for me, that's a 9. Like, it's just so good. Yeah, so Albatross is a 9 out of 10 for me. I just really enjoy it right from the get-go. For me, it's better than Theme. I think the sound that they captured here is a lot more like what they probably wanted. You got the metallic, clangy, aluminium-necked guitars, Fender Twin amp, I believe. Jar Wobble's bass is so fat and there's not much tone to it. It's just the bass. It's immense. I believe it's Richard on that song. I'll just check. It's actually not. It's David Humphrey. Right, I was wrong. David Humphrey. Well, his drums on that song are great. The fact that I was complimenting them, even though I didn't know it was him on that one. Yeah, they're brilliant on that track. And John Lydell's vocals are brilliant. Sure, they're not as melodic, but they're just really cool, haunting. And at the same time, his lyrics on that song are sort of similar to Theme, in my opinion. Getting rid of the Albatross, I wish I could die. But it's a lot more like artsy. You can interpret it a few different ways compared to Theme. Has to be a 9 in my opinion. It's not a 10 for me. I would probably give it a 10 on some better days, but yeah, 9 out of 10 is where I'm rating it today. Because the album has more 10 out of 10s later down the road. It has quite a few 10s in my opinion, so that's why I'm not rating it a 10, because I want it to be fair. Next up, Memories. And in fact, we're going on to side 2 now. So this series is a bit different because it's three different discs instead of one. So we're going to do side 1, side 2, and side 3 in this video. That's if I have got enough time left to do those. So next video will be 4, 5, and 6. But we'll see. Next up, Memories, which is my brother's least favourite track on the record. Goes from his most favourite to his least favourite. I don't see how it's his least favourite though. I really love this song. So you might notice I can't comment much on lyrics for this album, because it's not really like first issue. For this record, John Lydell would go in and just sing whatever came to his mind. So it's more like you can interpret it whatever way you want. There's not necessarily a meaning to every song. Let's have a look who's on drums for this song. Here. So on this song it's Richard Dansky. Side 2 of the record. Same as the first track, the guitar, man. This record is Keith's record for me. It's a whole band record, but as a guitarist, come on, guitar. I've got a guitar right here. There's another 2 over there. There's 1 right here. I'm definitely a guitarist. Keith just shines on this one. His tone, his unique style, the songwriting, it's just amazing, but everyone comes together. It's not just Keith, but as a guitarist, I notice it. There's a lot of flange on that guitar. And as I showed you in the lesson the other day, it's sort of playing a scale, but it's not really a proper scale, to say. It's just really cool notes. This song's super interesting because, as you might have noticed, it cuts between a live track and a studio track. I believe the single version was just studio, but the album version has this cut. And I'll point it out next time it happens. There's the cut. believe this is the studio cut, and the other bit that was just on is live. It's just so good. It's just so good. What an album. Songs like this, I don't know how I didn't like it on first listen. Like with first issue I kind of get it, because it sounds like punk but really underproduced and practiced, but this doesn't, to me. Even this original version of the record doesn't really sound too raw in my opinion. It sounds perfect. And this song's just so fun. I don't understand how my brother doesn't like it. He loves every other track on the album. He just points this one to being the one that's not his favourite. Which is strange for me, because my least favourite is, I think, Graveyard, probably. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to spoil it, but I'm pretty sure that's probably most people's least favourite. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love that song. It's Memories right there. Yeah. So Memories. Where do I rate that? Well, I mean, before doing these videos, I sort of think, alright, I think Memories will probably be an 8, but I don't know whether Memories is an 8 or a 9 for me. I'm gonna give Memories a 9. I just really enjoy that song, and listening to it through these speakers, monitors, I have listened to the album through these, but I rarely do. And listening to it through like headphones on Spotify, it's not even worth your time. Rip a CD, I mean, even zip it and send it to your phone if you have to, but playing a CD through monitors is perfect. Obviously the perfect way is vinyl. Vinyl is immense and definitely the best way to go about it, but this is just really amplifying it for me. I love it. Next up is Death Disco, that's what I call it, but on the record it's called Swan Lake. So let's go. Listen to that bass. The difference between Death Disco and Swan Lake is, I believe Swan Lake has more guitars. Death Disco just has the one. There's the Swan Lake. This song does have a meaning. John Lydon's mother was dying. He wrote a song while she was dying about her death. Disturbing. It's harrowing imagery. Final in a fade. Flowers wanting dead. Watched her slowly die. Seeing in your eyes. Though he's just going into the studio and screaming whatever comes to mind, it's really haunting stuff. And honestly, I don't understand how he could do it, or still can do it. But this song is immense. I don't mean to like give John too much praise. Like I don't want to come off like I'm giving him all the credit, because I don't know if I am coming off that way. Even though he deserves a lot, he deserves a lot of credit for these words. Obviously, they're his words, but they are like poetry in my opinion. Silence in your eyes. It's such a good term, even though it's not really a term anyone would say. I saw silence in your eyes. That is powerful. Final in a fade. It's just final in a fade. That just shivers down your spine. Of course, this track's very noisy compared to the first two. There's a lot of synth work going on. Now, let's have a look who's working on this track. So on this track, Keith Levine's on synth guitar, John Lydon's on vocals, Joel was on bass, and David Humphrey on drums. He does a legendary job. Almost dropped these. Express. When I get to the end of that song, I just feel disturbed in a way. Because it's a good dancer, you know, the bass line, the drums, and the guitar plays a lot of noise, which eventually just becomes like background sort of ambience that is beautiful. And yeah, it's the words are just so moving, man. Really downbeat. And I have to say, right, a Death Disco for me, or Swan Lake, is a 9 again. So there's 3 9s in a row. I know people probably think I'm being harsh. People think that it should be a 10, but a 9 is perfect in my book. So well, almost perfect. There's not really anything I can say that's bad about those tracks. I've just heard all 3 of those tracks so many times. I love them. You could tell I love them. I just give them a 9 because I can't go giving every song a 10 as much as I would want to. I've realised though that this video is coming up to half an hour long. So what I'm going to do is end it here. And so that's disc 1 of Metal Box. I'll see you all in disc 2. And then we'll do a part 3 for disc 3. I hope you're enjoying it, and join in with this scoring system if you can, because it's really interesting to me to see what you give them. Don't just give every track a 10 for the sake of it. If you genuinely think they're all 10s, definitely do it, but if you don't, be honest, because not every track on every record is a 10. So there we go, first 3 songs. That's the first disc. See you in disc 2.